A year ago, I was homeless and lived in a hotel with my 2 children. Today, we're living in our apartment. And here are some things that I've learned about starting over from being homeless. So, the resources that I use to make my transition into my new apartment easy. So, I'm going to start off with this place called the Clothing Closet, and you can go to the clothing closet to get almost anything that you would need to put in your home. So, I was able to get food, and most of the food that I got came from Publix. So, this is good quality food. You get clothes, not just for yourself, but for your children. If you have children and they give you a good amount of clothing, you can go 4 times a year. So pretty much summer, spring, fall, and winter. And then as far as for your food, you're able to go get food. I think it's every 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. So what is that, like 4 times a year? So I use that, and I still use that to this day. No shame. Also, I was able to get pillows, pillowcases. I was able to get bedspreads and sheets. All these things are all in bags still. They weren't pre-used or anything. They still had the tags on them. I found a lot of home decor that I have around my house. You would never even notice that it was secondhand. You know, they have diapers. This matters if you have children, small children anyways. Diapers. The clothing starts from like infant on up to adult, men and women. They have toys. They have books. Some they used to sell furniture. This one didn't, but there are others in my city, in Jacksonville as well, that do. So I'm pretty sure there's something similar like this in your city. It may not be called the clothing closet, but if you Google, I'm pretty sure that you will find exactly what you need. This was an amazing resource, and I would have known nothing about it had I not researched it. So, girl, don't be afraid to ask for help when help is needed, especially if you're coming from homelessness like me. And you, obviously, if I had somewhere to go or I had somebody to help me, I would have done that. And sometimes we just got to get up and do it ourselves, okay? So that is a resource that I did use, and it was amazing, y'all. When it comes to food, you not have to go to Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. I know that they have supposedly the best quality food and stuff like that, and I get it. But if you're coming from a situation like I was coming from, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, sometimes even Publix, it may be a little bit too expensive for your pockets. So believe it or not, I suggest the Dollar Tree and or the Save-A-Lots, Aldi's, Roses, and so forth. I know y'all know what type of grocery stores these are. Usually like a second-hand grocery store that people trip about going to because they think it's terribly bad, when I know for a fact that once Publix gets in their new meat and they have the meat that's been on the shelf for a while, but it is not expired, they will send that to the Walmart, send that to the Save A Lot, send that to the Aldi's. All right, so it's the same meat, y'all. Anyway, I would suggest that you shop at those types of stores because you're gonna get that same meat for just a cheaper price. Now it may be expiring maybe within a week or two when you get it. Girl, freeze it and keep going. And back to the Dollar Tree. As y'all saw in the video, I went to the Dollar Tree and I racked up on every household cleaning supply, medication that me and the girls might have needed. Y'all, do not sleep on Dollar Tree. I mean, it should be called the $1.25 store with a little family dollar products thrown in there, but the most I've ever paid for anything at the Dollar Tree is possibly $5. Also, the Dollar Tree has a food section, y'all. So when I first moved here, every meal that I got was from the Dollar Tree before I even found the clothing closet. But you know, they have, my kids love Lunchables. They got Lunchables. They have your milk. They have water. They have beans. They, you know, your canned goods. They have seasonings. Girl, they got it. They got it. And if you go to one Dollar Tree and they don't have it, try a new one because there's several of them in the city. So those are the places that I use, and it's budget friendly, y'all. You have to try to budget your money more so now because whatever you did before obviously didn't work if you ended up in a situation like the situation I was in. That'll be another story. But the point I'm trying to make is learn to live below your means, not within them, below them, because you never want to be in a situation where you don't have a place to live. Like, you got to be smart with your money. If you have children, there are these resources that you can use, like CAPS. At least in my city it was called CAPS. I'm not really sure what it's called here because my girls are older now. If you've ever applied for food stamps, Medicaid, all that, they have this section where you can apply for childcare. And typically they will pay for half of your childcare, if not all. So that works if you have smaller children. And for me, my kids are school aged. So you can also get it for that if that program provides it. But I found that in my particular city, there is the Boys and Girls Club. And the Boys and Girls Clubs now tend to be within the school. And it's free. Completely free. So again, I'm not saying you have the Boys and Girls Club completely free in your city, but find something equivalent that is possibly within your child's school that is free. They provide snack in the evening. They take your kids home because they do have busing, and this helps a single parent be able to work. One of the things that I dealt with, of course, being homeless is I didn't have a job, so I wasn't able to make money, and I didn't have a car. And once I was coming into this apartment, I needed to make sure that I had income. And the last thing that you want to do is tell someone that's trying to hire you that you don't have anybody to keep your kids. So the Boys and Girls Club was a great resource for me. And not only do they help with my kids after school and bring them home, in the summer, they also have summer camp where they take the kids all over the city and then some. I know my daughter she went to St. Augustine, you know, and they did like a silent party out there. She goes to camp. They're jumping into the lakes and off. Y'all know, whatever camp stuff is, they did that. They feed them. And again, they bus them home for you in the evening. So that's an amazing resource for me, being a single mom, is my kids having somewhere to go where they're safe, where they're still learning, where they're having fun, and I can work. Also, while being homeless, I decided to further my education and go back to school. I went and got my CNA license as well as my medical tech license, and I did this completely free. And I wanted to explain to you guys how this was possible. So there are a lot of places that will pay for you to go to school. In return, they will also resource jobs for you that you can pick once you're done with school. I use this particular place called Dwyer, but I know some people used Goodwill. Like, I had no idea that Goodwill would pay for you to go to school. And I've heard that there's plenty of other services like this that will help you to go to school. Not only did they pay for me to go to school to get my CNA license, but they also gave me a lift pass to go to and from school. So I did not have to pay for a lift. And if I didn't want to take a lift, for some people in bigger cities, they'll give you a bus pass. Well, of course, y'all know bus passes ain't too expensive, but you won't have to pay for it with these particular companies. They make sure you can get to and from school. Just to and from school though, girl. Don't be trying to go nowhere else. So that was a blessing. So while living in a hotel room that was 45 minutes away from the school that I was attending, the company made sure I got a lift picking me up and going to school and a lift bringing me back home. So that was an absolute blessing. So y'all look for places like that in your city. And I don't know what all programs, but just look for the different places and see what programs are hard. If you want to do HVAC, look into to see who would help pay for HVAC. You know what I'm saying? I have 2 certifications, and after 6 months of working within whichever job, I can get a referral from my boss and then go to the company and apply to go to school again, paid for. So that is an amazing resource, okay? So I don't want to hear I don't have no way to and from school and to and from work or whatever. Find these resources, y'all, because they are out there. Another thing that I want to put out there is that I was a homeless veteran. And I reached out to this company or this group called Changing Homelessness that works with veterans, of course, who are homeless. And they were simply amazing. I was in a hotel for a year in Boston before I came to Florida, and was in a hotel for another 6-7 months. Once I came to Florida and needed somewhere to stay, Changing Homelessness did put us up and did pay for us to live in that hotel until we found somewhere to stay. Now, this is not a forever type thing. You only get so many months or so much money to do this before you gotta go and you gotta find you somewhere to go. And they actually had this apartment complex already in network. They already had dealt with these people. So that's how I ended up here. So that was a blessing as well. Now, like I said, I did use a resource that is geared towards veterans, but I know of other resources that are geared towards civilians as well. So again, look for something like that that's gonna help you get off the streets. And if you're a single mom like I am, I promise you, there are several places that will help you get off the streets. I had a caseworker for some of everything. Not only are you able to be helped with housing and stuff like that, but they will also help with mental health, y'all. Because if you go through something that I just went through, that I know plenty of people have been through, so sorry, the outside banging on something. But if you go through something like that, your mental can become messed up, y'all. So I had to get my mental in order. And not only do they pay for you to go get your mental health seen about, they also can do that for your children. Because y'all, believe it or not, kids get depressed and have issues and they need their mental health dealt with too. Don't get stuck in that old school BS about, oh, you don't need to go to, no. If you need therapy, get therapy. You need to be a healthy individual so that you can be healthy and ready to raise these children that they asked you to bring them here, y'all. So they had resources for healthcare, resources for dental, and all of these things are things that, they help you find these resources so that you can get to them and get what you need done, especially if you don't have any healthcare, which brings me to food stamps. I forget the name. But y'all know what food stamps is. So of course, if you can apply for food stamps and get food stamps, medical coverage, even if it's just for your children, do it. And don't be ashamed about it. People do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that you got to stay on for the rest of your life, but it will help you while you're going through what you're going through. If you cannot find resources like the ones that I just named, then food stamp. You're gonna get a certain amount and you just gotta make do what it do. And get the food stamps on top of going to the clothing closet in another one. Just do what you gotta do, girl. Feed your kids. These resources I did not necessarily use, but they were told to me in my process of trying to find a place to live. Section 8, HUD, and Habitat. So I'm pretty sure there's another one, but I do know that Habitat will build a home for you. And I know that it's like These are all based on your income. And with Habitat, I know my cousin did this. I believe you have to do like community service to get your home built. I'm not 100% on HUD. In Section 8, I have someone that I know that also, Section 8 will either pay all your rent or you will pay something as low as $25. Because again, this is based on your income. And I'm guessing if you don't have any income, I wouldn't think that you pay much. And I'm guessing that might be why I know people that are paying $25. But those are also some resources that you can use, girl, to get yourself together. One of the last things that I did once I moved into this apartment was find some type of class that teaches you how to budget money. Y'all can literally go on YouTube and Google that, because there's plenty of channels that's talking about budgeting and saving money and how to live below your means and all the above. Or you can take a course online, or you can go to a class, all of that. But y'all, knowledge is power. We already know that. But if you were never taught how to budget money, what to do with it, how to invest, like all of those things, if you just know nothing about nothing, just start with the basics and find out how to just make the amount of money that you bring in every 2 weeks work for you. Try to keep your bills as low as possible. You know that saying, more money, more problems? That is a real thing. And the only reason that it's a real thing is because when people make more, they tend to get more. They tend to get more of what they can afford now because they couldn't afford it before, right? So like me, I pay an internet bill. That's as low as $25 if you're on food stamps or you have kids in school or you're in like a low income bracket. You can get $25 internet and then have Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus, which are the prime examples of the things that are in my house, and stream those for your kids to watch TVs, right? That's cheaper than these cable bills. Those are things that I'm able to pay for, right? But say you start making more money and now you go, oh, well, since I'm making this more money, I can go and get a cable bill. If you don't need to do that, don't do that. If you don't need to do that, don't do that. That's what I mean. Still stay below your means. You're making more money and you're still living below your means. You're not coming up to it. You're living below it. So you can still have extra money laying around. Like I just went on my first solo trip to Puerto Rico, and I'm not gonna say it was an expensive trip, but 2 years ago I couldn't afford to do that. That's just the truth. 2 years ago I couldn't go on to a trip to Puerto Rico. So I am learning that you need to learn how to budget your money. Again, with the food and like with everything on this list that I just told y'all, if it's not broke, why fix it? If all of that's working for me, why would I change it once I start? I'm not saying you can't, but I'm just saying, why would I add several new bills to my plate if I don't have to? If I don't have to add several new bills to my plate, why would I? I'm just going to stay where I'm at because it's working. Now, are there certain things that I want to buy? Yes. So it's this thing called saving and getting it when you can. My biggest thing for me, this is how I do it. If it's an absolute need right here, right now that me and my children need, I'm going to buy it. But if it's something that I just want and I don't necessarily need and I can't afford it, I'm not going to go try to find a way to get it. Like some people will try to find a way to get it. And when I mean find a way to get it, I mean robbing Peter to pay Paul. I don't do stuff like that. It does not apply to anyone that's like, well, girl, that's why you get a dude that do XYZ. If you can afford all that other stuff, you wouldn't be on this video. So let's not talk about irrelevant things. We're just going to stay with the relevancy. And, I'm pretty sure there are several other resources that I might have missed that I do not know about as of yet. And if you know, comment down below. Let us know in the comments, girl. Let us know what you used or what may help. Just help a sister out. Help a sister out. Let's grow and learn together. I really hope that it was informative for a lot of you. I have to think that something on that list you hadn't heard of before, and you can go and apply that to your life right now, girl. But yeah, that's it, babes. And I'll see you all in my next video because, girl, this is going to be a series. We're going to have plenty of videos where I'm pretty much just showing you how I went from that to this. Just stay tuned, girl. I'll talk to y'all later.